Proliferation analysis in flow logic can be performed on a single sample or multiple samples at once. And to analyze multiple samples, firstly add them all to a group. Even though these samples are grouped, when fitting curves to the data, each file will be analyzed independently, based initially on the position of the first generation peak. However, it is possible to set a master or a universal first generation position, and this is done by grouping the generation 1 gates for each sample that defines the first generation peak. Also, when grouping a selection of existing gates, it is the gate that is listed highest in the file inspector that governs the position of all other gates in the group. This might mean that the order of the files in the file inspector needs to be changed, and in my example here, I have my master file listed as the 4th file, but as I want this to determine the position of the first generation gate for the other 3 files, I will drag and drop it to the top of the list. I can now continue my analysis by opening the plots in the workspace, displaying in this case a CFSE labeling as a histogram, opening the plot side drawer for one sample, and selecting the Proliferation tab. Here you can define a number of parameters, such as the position of the background, the loss factor, and the number of peaks to detect. It doesn't matter if the number of peaks defined in this setup is greater than the actual number of peaks in the sample. Once the setup is complete, simply click Fit, and Flow Logic will fit the curves to the peaks. The analysis statistics for all samples will be displayed in a table under the Proliferation tab of the Advanced Functions pull-up drawer, and these can be exported via the right-click menu. The results, such as the percentage area for each peak and the cell count for each generation, is displayed in the plot side drawer. In addition, the chi-squared value, which is displayed in the plot side drawer, gives an indication of the fit, where a good fit results in a low chi-squared value. The results displayed in the plot side drawer can be exported via the right-click menu, and right-clicking within the plot window itself brings up another menu with a range of features including an export option. The gates from which the curves are derived can also be adjusted. To do this, tick the manual adjustment for the position and/or the width. From here, to adjust the curves for just one sample, click on the Gate List tab and display the Gen 1 gate. This is now free to be adjusted and the curves will update accordingly. However, in this example, I wish to use the position of the Gen 1 gate on my master sample for all of the samples in the analysis. To do this, I simply select the Gen 1 gates in each sample in the file inspector, and with the manual position and width ticked on my first sample, I add these gates to a group. And you can see that the Gen 1 position for all samples is now the same. As I didn't have the loss factor set to manual, Flow Logic will recalculate the loss factor for each individual file based on the position of the data. However, I could set this to manual in the master sample and use this to define the settings for all other samples. At this point, I can still display the first generation gate from the Gate List tab and adjust it on any of the samples in the analysis. So here, I can adjust the gate for its position, and you can see the curves are redrawn for every sample. Likewise, I can adjust the gate width. And because these Gen 1 gates are in a group, I can make these adjustments on any of the plots. Finally, the results from this proliferation analysis can be imported into the GraphLogic workspace. To do this, select the Statistics tab at the top of the file navigator and drag the proliferation statistics directly to the spreadsheet.